Emma, bright-eyed and hopeful, stepped into her new home. It was an old Victorian house, full of character, she told herself. Sunlight filtered through dusty windows, illuminating cobwebs and faded grandeur. The air was stale, heavy with the scent of time and forgotten things. But Emma was undeterred. She saw potential in every creaking floorboard, every shadowed corner. This was her fresh start, a chance to build a life she always dreamed of. The first few days were filled with unpacking and settling in. She hung curtains, arranged furniture, and placed potted plants on windowsills. Slowly, she breathed life back into the old house. At night, though, the silence was deafening. The house seemed to hold its breath, listening, watching. One evening, as Emma sat reading, a sound broke the silence. It was a soft rustling, like paper being dragged across the floor. She paused, listening intently. The sound came again from the far corner of the room. Emma put down her book and cautiously approached the corner. "Hello," she called out, her voice echoing in the stillness. There was no reply, only the faint rustling sound, now fainter, as if retreating back into the walls. Emma convinced herself it was just a mouse. Old houses did have mice, she reasoned. Still, a shiver ran down her spine. The rustling returned the next night and the night after. Each time it grew bolder, louder, more insistent. Then one night it transformed. The rustling morphed into a whisper, faint and indistinct at first. Emma strained to hear. Then, clear as day, she heard it, her name. "Emma!" The whisper hissed, sending chills down her spine. She spun around, searching for the source of the voice. But there was nothing, just the empty room shrouded in shadows. Fear, cold and clammy, tightened its grip on her heart. The whispers continued each night, growing louder, more menacing. They seemed to seep from the very walls, wrapping around her like icy fingers. Section 4, Fear Takes Hold. Emma tried to rationalize what she was experiencing. She told herself it was just the old house settling, the wind playing tricks on her mind. But deep down, she knew better. This was something else, something sinister. Desperate for help, she reached out to her neighbors. But they dismissed her concerns, attributing them to the stress of moving. All old houses make noises, they said, their smiles strained. Alone and terrified, Emma felt her sanity slipping. The whispers were relentless, taunting her, threatening to consume her. Sleep offered no escape, haunted by nightmares of shadowy figures and disembodied voices. She was trapped, imprisoned within the walls of her own home. Section 5. The walls crack open. The climax came on a stormy night. Thunder roared, shaking the house to its core. The whispers reached a fever pitch, a chorus of voices now, chanting her name, mocking her fear. Suddenly, a loud cracking sound split the air. A fissure snaked its way down the wall, widening with each passing second. From its depths, a thick black liquid oozed, its surface bubbling and churning. The stench was overpowering, a mix of decay and something ancient, something evil. Tendrils of the viscous liquid snaked out from the crack, reaching for Emma like grasping claws. Paralyzed with terror, she could only watch as the darkness enveloped her, dragging her towards the gaping maw in the wall. Section 6. The house resets. The next morning, the storm had passed. Sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating a scene of normalcy. The house stood silent, its walls intact, the air devoid of any trace of the previous night's horrors. Emma was gone, vanished without a trace. The only evidence of her existence was a single shoe left abandoned in the middle of the living room. The house had reset itself, its secrets safely guarded behind its freshly painted walls. It stood waiting, patient and predatory for its next unsuspecting occupant, ready to weave its web of horror anew. The cycle would continue. The whispering walls would claim another victim.